Okay.
All right, so I will start now. So indeed, after gone through Mr. Robert's summarized CV and also the 62 pages again of the Affinity profiles, I would say that we are impressed with the achievements and endless support, which has been completed by Mr. Roberts and Mr. Roberts' wife, Madam, towards the community. However, may I kindly request you to introduce yourself with one word, just a word, and why you introduce yourself as the one word?
I always introduce myself as an entrepreneur, right? So people talk about they are entrepreneurs. They are technopreneurs, you know. So all these words, there must be some meaning to that, right? If you call yourself an entrepreneur, entrepreneur, people always associate that you must be doing very big thing like Elon Musk, people associate with them, you see. And some people introduce them as a technopreneur. It's a very technopreneur means that your product must be high tech. It must be something like, ICG or a big thing, right? But you see, for entrepreneur or even for innovations, not everything needs to be high tech. As you see from our water filter thing, it's so simple. It's basic science. The principle of introducing pressure into the bottle to force the water out. This basic science in school. I'm sure you have done some of the science projects, such as you palm the plastic bottle and you shoot a rocket. It's a basic principle, right? So for me, I'm sure you've gone through my CV. I have many other innovations which are just as simple, right? I always believe in simplicity, because if not, what you do is too high tech. Most of the time, it will never reach the market. Either it's too expensive or it's not doable by you, right? So it's an entrepreneur means that I'm using innovation plus the entrepreneurship. So from the word as entrepreneur.
Right.
So there's entrepreneur.
Yep, it's a new word.
Hopefully, that this word will be considered as one of the new words in our dictionary, because I believe in our societies, and whenever it is a business, whenever there is a social enterprise, we always need innovation. We cannot always follow the traditional ways like some NGO does, because those traditional ways probably may not able to achieve the targeted audience, the targeted people, especially. So, Mr. Roberts, I will proceed to the second question. So we understand that all the soulmates often we call as our partner and influencer in our life. So hence, other than Madam Ting, so Mr. Roberts, do you have any other role models or who influenced you to do what you are today? That means
I've done
other than your wife.
Yeah. So you must got someone to give you a problem and you solve the problem, is it?
Yeah, because normally we create a problem and then that's where we come up with a solution.
The ladies are smiling. Right? Okay. To me, you see, I have my own metaphor. If you check my Facebook, so I have a group called Think Without the Box, right? My philosophy is not, I think I'm sure your prof or any of your mentor have taught you, you must think outside the box for a solution, right? Actually, if outside the box, you will still have a perimeter, meaning that, if you are doing something, you're focusing your GPA or your PhD on one subject, you will not associate yourself with another topic, right? But most of the reality in time, we can actually use, say, example, like if I am sitting on a chair, right? So if I look at a bicycle, I might think, why don't I use the wheel of bicycle to put on a chair to make a wheelchair? Even the chair and the bicycle are not related, right? So if you think outside the box, just outside, if I'm doing a chair, you always focus, my chair, I can see a table, I can see, what's around you. You will not see beyond that.
Yep.
Right. So my innovation, right? People seems to ask me, I have the rubber stamp. I'm sure one of my inventions is rubber stamps. I have rubber stamp. I got fertilizer, which I know I got all this IT, even the phone for the blind, I think, if which are not associated. So how that comes to be, right? So you must think without the box. Remember that.
All right. So I will continue to next questions. So we understand that as we have gone through the profiles, it always stated the motto of Infinity is WIT. So however, working with the people, investing in the people and benefit to the people may incur some costs. So do you agree that incurred some costs, and hence to get sufficient funds and costs to sustain your family expenditure, do you have other business or self-employment kind of enterprise prior to the social enterprise setup? That means
Of course. Right?
Yeah.
This social enterprise is more on a humanitarian. It is for social enterprise, it is actually a company. It's a profiting company, right? We are not charity. Social enterprise are not charity. You have to be clear on that, right? A lot of people think, it's social enterprise, we should give it free. No, we don't give free. All right. But the what makes it different between a social enterprise and a common enterprise, right? Social enterprise, we do it not for the money, right? Our intention is not to get rich, but it must be self-sustainable. We cannot ask for not hands-on donations. We do not take donations. When people sponsor the project, we got many sponsors. We even got IOI properties. We got Gamuna Foundations. We got Maxis Foundation. Most of these big corporate, they actually sponsor the project, but it's not sponsoring us. They are sponsoring the beneficiaries, right? Basically, what we do is that we have a product. They buy it from us, right, at a cost which it's nice to them, right? So we can actually help them to deploy, or to take the product off and they deploy themselves. We do not take charity. No, they do not give us the money or get this for you to buy a car or pay electricity. No, we do that, right? So what we do is that we have a product that is marketable, competitive, right? So they say, your thing is cheap and it's practical. I buy from you, right, to benefit the people. So, like before I started this social enterprise, of course I've been an inventor for the last since the 1990s. I started, I'm sure you've seen that, the rubber stamp machine. Have any idea about that? See, many years ago when people want to make a rubber stamp, rubber stamps are chop, right?
Yep.
Right. Those days, if you want a stamp, you go to the bookstore.
Yes.
Right. If you go to the bookstore, you say, I want to make a rubber stamp. You write your name, Alibaba, and all this. Right. Then they have to wait for the professional rubber stamp maker. Maybe the old man ride in a bicycle, they come and collect orders and they go back. So for them to do, it's a very slow and tedious way of making rubber stamp all the time, right? Maybe rubber stamp have been used for hundreds of years, So what they do is that they have the setup. They have to compose, arrange the letter bits, A, B, C. If your name is Alibaba, A, L, they compose it, they arrange the wording, and they make a plaster mold and they burn the rubber inside the mold to make the relief of the stamp. Very slow, very tedious. Right? Okay, so I come up with innovation. It's a very small machine, as big as maybe your laptop size, which we can make rubber stamp in 5 minutes. Of course, the whole world is it. Right. So for invention or innovation, whatever you're doing, especially, see, I'm sure you've heard of people say, you're an inventor, you probably die as pauper, you die poor. This is what people heard, right? So because I'm sure, if you ask you, can you name another 3 inventors? I don't think you can. I mean, for local, you can never think of another 3 Malaysian inventors. We are still surviving, still standing today, right? So of course I have many other inventions, like even the fertilizer for the plants, which we are, it's a probiotic fertilizer. I'm sure you know about what's probiotic. Probiotic means it's friendly to bacteria, I think. So we have a fertilizer which, when you put inside the soil, the microbes will grow. Right? We need the microbes to break down whatever nutrients which is in the soil and what we're putting in. So it comes in a powder, very small, about 100 grams. We sell it very expensive, about 40 ringgit. But we sell all over the world, even in Indonesia, Thailand, they sell through multi-level marketing, that thing, right? So of course, we need these type of resources and income to pay for what we do, to start what we did, you see. So this is what we do. We cannot just come in empty-handed and say, I want to do a social enterprise, and let's say, who's going to feed the wife, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to feed the kids? Right? You have to have a backup, okay? Right? Your intention is good, right? But I don't think you can actually do it. Right? So it's important. See, our module or operation module, right? What we do is that we always, when we work a lot with NGO. We work with NGO, other NGO like Rotary Club, Lion Club, Muslim, and Mama Pin, and all this, right? So they already are in the work of helping this orang asli. They knows where and what these people need. We might not, because they're all everywhere in the jungle. There's no way we know who is who, right? And who needs what. So they'll come to us and say, we need 100 sets of this community which are still living, taking water from the drain and from the hill, right? So what is the problem? Maybe you've read that in the video, I think. What is the problem with water? This orange. You always think, in jungle, it's a paradise, that thing, With people from Sarawak, you think, the jungle there, the water is clean and clear, crystal, right? Yes, maybe 30, 40 years ago, it might be so, right? Because of the logging, the mining, I'm sure you heard about, maybe a few years ago, 3, 4 years ago, there was a case in Kelantan, right, where there were about, I think, 14, 15, 16 more than that, of the villagers who actually died because of the water. Of course, the government don't admit that. They call this missiles and all that things. I say, so why is this happening? Why now? Why they have been living there for years and centuries and generations? Why things did not happen then? What happening now? Right? See, Malaysia is a very fortunate country. We got plenty of resources. Resources mean that minerals, that thing, right? So most of these minerals, they are embedded in the ground, especially in the rivers, in the river bed, that thing, right? Even gold or whatever. So for the years and years, water had been slow and steady. It moved, right? There's no turbulence, I think. Because of the logging, I think, I said cut the trees. So every time it rains, water, the currents could be very swift, very fast. It stir up the dirt.
Yeah.
Right? So when it stir the dirt, all these minerals, magnesium, manganese, all this heavy metal thing, it stir up. And these people are drinking that. This is what's happening. That's why they die. Right?
Very sad, yes.
Right? Reality.
True,
right?
true,
So,
true,
okay.
true.
So you might be thinking, there are plenty of water filter in the market. There were M-way, cold way, whatever way, no way, yes way, plenty of them. Why can't I just use them? Why do we have to reinvent the wheel? Why do we have to come up with another invention to solve the problem? One invention is not cheap, For us to produce just the cap of what we do, the water filter, costs over 100 or 1,000 ringgit. You believe that? To make the mold, to do the production, I think it's not cheap. It's a very expensive process. Okay. See, we are talking about other filters, right? See, most filters, what they need, all filters, they need water pressure. You cannot just simply install a filter to the tap and, you need water pressure for the water to come to the other end. Right? Because now we got filter, the pressure will be in hindrance, the flow of the water. So we need heavy water pressure, which these people do not have, the orang asli. Most of them still getting water from the river, from the stream, in a bucket, in a bottle, thing like that, or just a small overhead type of tank, where maybe there's a 10 feet drop for the gravity. That is not enough pressure for them to use actually. Okay, and they do not have electricity. You have to remember, right? So they cannot install a pump. Get a pump, it's easy, right? Okay. So we have to come up with this innovation where they do not need water pressure from a tap. We don't need to build heavy infrastructures, right? Say you need a tower 100 feet high. These are all costs, right? Expensive costs. And I said, no electricity. We don't need that. So we make it so simple that you just take a bottle, you fill with dirty water, you pump air inside, and it comes out, the water is clean. And the filter can easily be washed. Rinse in water, it's clean again, use for 4 or 5 years. Actually, one of these filters, we are using, giving them membrane filter, which is about 0.02 micron, which is as good. It's the same thing as what you find in Amway or Coway or whatever set, right? If you buy an expensive set of water filter, you look at the back, you'll see a few of these modules or chambers type of, right? This all 7 level, 8 level, it costs you a few thousand of ringgit. Basically, it's the same. At the back,
Right.
they are ceramic, they are the membrane, they are woven, the membrane, basically the same. So what we do, we are giving the last filter, which is a membrane filter, where you can actually wash everything, right? So one set, the whole set we are selling them. It's so cheap. We are selling at 175 ringgit for the whole set, but it's still very cheap. Right? And for NGO of those two people who sponsor people, we offer them 125 ringgit. So it's so cheap. This is what social enterprises are. We can easily sell more than that, right? But of course, even if we sell 125, we do not make a loss. It's very important that we do not. If you are making a loss, you will not be sustainable, right? Your good heart doesn't buy you food. Let's be realistic, right? This is how we maintain ourselves.
Right. I think you described the product very well, Mr. Yong. I mean, I saw the videos, like how to use it. It looks very simple, right? You
Yep.
just have to pump it through. I think what you mentioned, the water pressure is really not important in this case, because you just need to take the water and then pressure it, and then you get the water, and then you just need to boil it to drink it, right?
Yep.
So, just a curious question, right? When it comes to the one toolkit, the complete toolkit, if how many, I mean, do you provide like one per family, one toolkit, or
Yes.
okay,
One
okay.
family. You see, the problem is that, you see, you know what Jakwa? Jakwa is the Orang Asli, Japatan Orang Asli, which is under the rural communities. Right? They actually spend millions and millions building this water filter system for each kampong. Right? They usually give in Sabah, Sarawak, they give them the yellow tank, they get big, huge
Yes,
tank.
that's a famous
In
one.
Malaysia here, we use a blue tank. It's blue color. Right? So what they do is that they pipe the water from the upstream, from the hills, they pump it and into the container, into a big container. And from there, the output, before they make a tap there, right? So they put a filter there, of course, just a filter, where it's a tap. Right, so you open the tap, the water goes through the filter and it comes out clean. Right, okay. The problem back to square one. Not everybody live. Okay, these are usually installed in the community hall, next to the community hall, where everybody. One of this system costs you 40,000-50,000. It's not cheap, right? They got a big thing. How much they make this? Not a problem, right? It actually costs. So they build it next to the community hall, or okay. Not everybody live near the community hall. If you are a family, live 100 meters away, 200 meters away, are you going to carry the water back home every day? All right, and go there, it's just like the African, and go to the hand pump and just wait to fill up the container and they carry the thing. Water is not light, it's heavy. Right? Imagine they had to carry water through and through. Back to square one, right? Okay, let's say they are willing to do that. They carry the water better than nothing. Problem is that everybody use. Who is going to maintain? Who is going to wash it? Right? This thing doesn't work. Everybody waits for everybody. So today you can see everywhere, Sabah, Sarawak, Malaysia, everything. None of them is working. Within a few weeks, the thing will cease operation. One thing is that the reason is that this device, this system, get the water from the stream, upstream the river. When it rains, the water is going to be dirty. The water is going to go inside the tank. The tank is dirty. The water is going to go through a filter. The filter is going to clog back in 15 minutes. There is no way that, okay, you have a toll, or clean water can come in, dirty water cannot come in. There's no wow things to do that, right? So every time it rains, every time the time that we need clean water, the whole filter is going to clog up. And who is going to watch it? So this thing doesn't work. Well, our system is that we give to individual with ownership people will take care of the thing. Fact of life, right? And the good thing is that they can actually take the cleaner water to filter, right? So if the water is so dirty, so contaminated, so murky, what they do is that they have to wait for the water to settle, take the top one, which are cleaner, to filter. Not that the filter cannot filter dirty water, but this way we do it, we will not tax the filter so much, so the filter lasts longer. That's how it works.
Yeah, so Mr. Roberts, I understand that because in one of the problems that you have mentioned in the profile is actually that because of the selfishness of people, that's one of the reason why a big tank for the whole kampung should not be installed that way, and why mostly is filled, because we understand that the filter, they need to be like so-called maintenance or clean the filter. So to make it more sustainable and can withstand for longer time. And then we will go to the next question. So we know the rural area or the communities often related to underprivileged category. Meanwhile, which occasion caused you to spot the opportunity for expanding affinities and the visions of to providing the clean water for these underprivileged people? And so that means, because in order for you to like find out there is problems and there is a difficulties faced by these underprivileged people, you may have met someone else or any occasion that caused you to realize that, this is the place where I should come in and help these people.
Okay, I think most of the things, innovation that they mentioned, we usually actually encounter the problem. Usually, you should encounter a problem, or we encounter somebody with a problem before we come up with a solution. You can come up with nothing and say, "Oh, I want to make this." Right? Usually, it's from experience. So this project is actually part of it. Is my we were on the church, right? A reach out problem, a reach out mission, where we usually go inside follow the church, so they have the reach mission to whatever they do lah, right? So we go inside. So when we see them drinking the water, right, that will strike us, say, okay, the first thing is, people say, you see, even if we go inside this on campus, usually we take our own mineral water. Why? We know that the problem, we cannot drink water. Then if we cannot drink, how can they drink? Right? So you must have a sense of empathy. Right? If you want to do social, you must have a sense of empathy that you think for people. Right? Think for people, of course, that's again, it's not charity. Right? So you must think of of course, you see a lot of NGO, they're talking about social and what they do is more of a charity, where they go and collect rice, collect sugar, collect oil, and give it. That is not a sustainable, right? So they are doing good. We are not criticizing, right? Everybody have to do something, right? So for us, we would not want to do that. My wife and I, we have to do something where we approach them, where we give to them, that should settle the problem. We do not have to come back and hold the hand, right? If we got resources, we got time, we rather take it to benefit another community. So it's more. You see, a lot of this company, right? They got foundation, they got CSR program, they got CSR fund, they got plenty. If you approach them, they can give you 100,000. It's okay, but the project must not be something that you keep going back to for them for more, for the same cost. They won't help you in that, right? You can go back, okay, I can go to this big company and say, okay, I give you 50,000, you to finish it. So the next time, if you see them again, it must be for another community. We cannot go back to, their filter spoiled, we need to replace them. we won't do that, right? So let's say, no, you must have a sense of empathy, that you feel for people, that, it must be concerning, then it must be your own experience, that when you see it, right? When you see it, when you're in their own in their shoes, then you realize that's a problem you need to solve. And another thing, right? Of course, this is first-hand experience. One of my other invention, maybe you've seen it, it was a phone for the blind. Did you watch that? Right? See how the blind people use a handphone. I think, or handphone, Of course, maybe the old Nokia, we got the physical keypad, right, where you can feel the Nokia. Maybe you're too young to use one, I don't know, right? These are things. So, okay, can they able to send text? Can they send SMS or send messaging? Maybe can, very slow. As you know, the number 5 usually got a bubble. We can feel number 5. So next is number 4, this is number 3. They actually, I bet they know, right? Okay, what about a smartphone? A touchscreen phone? Are these people able to use it? So my invention can enable them to use a smartphone. They can send text, not voice. Voice, as you know, is not accurate. If you're Australian, I'm going to die. No, it's different people, different slang. Right? You can enable them to use a smartphone text to send text as fast as you. I don't know how can it be. Any phone. The thing is, actually, what APITA, the APITA Asia Pacific ICT Award, maybe you know, right? It's very simple. The innovation must be simple, must be practical, must be cheap. And how it works? I think, all right. Basically, what it is a phone. What we develop in an apps to bring out the dialer, the dialing pad in Braille. It's Braille, right? Braille, the blind man, is the 6 dot, the A like that, B like that, dot. They actually knows it, they really learn. Okay, the smartphone, they got the button there. They know that, okay, they're blind. They cannot see, they cannot feel. How would they know where are the buttons? Now how simple is it? Now how simple is it? The 2 Chinese here who have played mahjong before, they should know, right? You touch the tiles, you can feel. So basically what we do, we get a plastic screen protector thing, where we punch or make some markings embossed to the area, to the place where the buttons are. They can feel it. They can feel the pin or the hole. They will know where the button. You play mahjong, you touch it, you already know, right? So we stick the plastic. Usually we use the screen protector, right? Stick it back. They can feel where the button. They can type faster than you.
That's a smart way. Yeah.
Right?
True.
No,
So
your question, Abram. How did I come? I'm not blind. I do not have a family who's blind. How do I know? No. So it happened that I have a friend who was blind. Right? So it happens that we met him. And he was using the old phone, just he was trying to hear the sound, I say, oh, if your phone is spoiled, this phone is spoiled, you can't use the phone anymore. Nobody's making the analog type of dialing anymore. I say, you're doomed. Right? So that's how we come up with the idea of that. How will enable them to use a smartphone, a touchscreen. See, with the touchscreen, if they can actually control, master the screen, they can do many things. Right? See, to voice to text is difficult. Text to voice is easy. Right? The read out is very easy. You can say your phone, I think you can read out the text. So what they did is send the text to you, you read it, when you reply to them, they can actually play out. So it's soft. So we already give this thing to the Association of Blind. What they do is that the members, they download the apps, get a friend to give them we have nothing to sell. We have nothing to sell, just an app, So they're using it now. Simple as that. It costs nothing. Okay, next.
Okay, so next question will be, so we understand that Efinity has been set up in the year of 2016, according to the profile. So actually, Mr. Roberts, for you, right, how long do you take to set up the Efinity, and how is the journey for you to set up this social enterprise? And during the process when you set up the business, so-called social enterprise, do you face any challenges like in the perspective of financial challenges or illegal activities or the geographical difficulties, or sometimes maybe because of the political difficulty as well, because some politicians, they might not so happy when you are coming in to help the community, or some of the political people, they might, because of the political interest, they might want to collaborate with you to gain some benefit for the people so that they can win for the election. So do you face this kind of challenges?
Yeah, I think this is part of life, right? What we do, right? For us to come out with a product, right? Let's say it costs 100,000. Where do we get it from? There happens to be in Malaysia, actually, for entrepreneurs, we are pampered lot. There are plenty of grants, plenty of funds, plenty of competition we can take part to win all these things, right? So we actually want a few competition. One of them is from this Yayasan Inovasi Negara, which is Yayasan Inovasi Malaysia, YIM. YIM is called a YIM as a short form. They are mostly under Ministry of Science, where they actually to help grassroots innovators, right? So this innovation, we entered for competition. We won actually about 30,000 to come up with a prototype of thing. From there, we also want, even the MCY is Malaysia Commercialization Year is under mostly. Actually, we want 100,000 worth of grant, is it, to come out with a mold to produce. No, for us, I think it was, for the financial part, it was quite easy, right? So you see, if you've got a good innovation, people are willing to support you. Right? When people believe in you, they will support you, right? You don't come out and say, "Oh, I want to make a rocket to the moon," and people just walk away and laugh at you, right? But if you think it's something practical to them, oh, this is good, is the impact is good. They're gonna benefit a lot of people. People have been, like it. But of course, life is a balance, right? If you benefit other people, there must be somebody who is going to, lose out from, right? When we approach the government for it, right? So the politician which we approach, they went to talk to the people from this Jakwa ministry. Do you know what they said about this product? This Jakwa is the one who building this high-tech type of 30,000-40,000 worth of system for them. You know what they said? They told this guy, and the guy told me that this guy said, "Oh, this thing is so simple, so low tech. If you give to them, you insult them." Wow. Because the reason why they want to build big system. Reason known to them lah. Why they want to build system? You see, it's so simple. If you give to them, insulting them, you give them such a system. So when I told this to the Oransley, he said, "Oh, they know why they say that. Huh? They prefer to build big system. I don't know why, right? And even it doesn't work. You see, the reality is that if you offer them between a car and a bicycle, well, everybody's getting a car and you give them a bicycle, maybe it's insult. But if you give them a bicycle or nothing, bicycle is better, right? And the good thing about our innovation is that sometimes, before that, when we approach this politician, I think they say, "Oh, we have plans to give them piped water, treated water. They have plans, right? 10 years plan, 20 years plan, 30 people, I don't know. Maybe you see Sabah and Sarawak, the petrol station outside the city, they sell more mineral water than petrol. It's correct. You can see the piles like a mandarin orange during Chinese New Year, the pile up in the mountain, mineral water. Right? Outside the city, most of them are still, they are getting water from their air bukit, they call it air bukit from the hill, I think. Right? This is reality. We didn't know to them, they prefer the big system. So your question is that, what other encounter? I think financially, it's not big. We don't have that issue as other inventors. Yeah, so a lot of inventors. Maybe I'll share with you what innovations are done. A lot of innovators, to them is that they all of them think that the idea is the best in the world. No? Every inventor think, oh, this is everything they think of, in the most stupid, research, they think it's the best in the world. Right? And they think that because they have an innovation, maybe to get a patent is not. It's not a difficult thing. It's a matter of paying, and you file a patent and you get a patent. And these people, once they got a patent, they think that the whole world owe them a living. Oh, this is the best thing, the world is going to be at my feet and it's going to back me for. But this is fantasy, right? It's never true. Never has been. Never will be. Right. So what are we going to do now? What was your question again?
So, Mr. Roberts, will you get a patent for your products? Because I didn't see your products getting any patents or trademark, right?
We file a patent, but it's still pending. See? It takes about 3-4 years before you can get a patent, right? But this thing, see, for us, see, patent is more on a formality, right? We need a patent, right? But if your product is not profit oriented, people do not even want to copy you. Right? Who wants to copy? For us, you see, if you don't have this, if we were not lucky enough to get all these grants or loans or support, I don't think it's so easy for us to come up with a product anyway. Right? So why is it something so simple? Why nobody did it before us? Right? Maybe the reason is that, there's no money to make. Who want to do it? Right? Okay, so what's your question again? Next question.
Next question. Maybe Michelle, do you want to ask some questions?
Michelle, you have been silent.
Yeah.
I've been listening in to all the sharing, very enlightening. Yeah, so maybe I'll perhaps continue from what
Financial side.
On the financial setup, Mr. Robert, so I would think that setting up this organization, and then for the benefit of the community, this would have taken some significant investment. Would you mind to share, like, in terms of capital, and also the time it has taken for you to have this break-even sales volume? Would you mind to share a bit with us on that?
Okay. So we started this to form a company, right? Basically, to form a company, we form an enterprise company. You see, we got the name registered under Infinity Social Enterprise. See, when you register it, this registrar do not allow us to use the word social enterprise.
Oh.
Yeah, because social enterprise, and I don't think you have heard another company which the word social enterprise. Right? You can say what company, what kind of, they can claim they are social enterprise, but they do not have the word social enterprise in the company.
Okay.
You know
got
why?
you.
Okay, that's the thing there. So when so we ask him why. So when we when we register, when they say, oh no, you cannot use the word social enterprise. We said, oh, you can use the word after you can collect charity, you can collect donation under your company. It could be a con, all right? It could be a scam. So likely because we have been using the word social enterprise before we actually go register the company. So we have some newspaper cuttings of what we do under the word social enterprise. So after a few convincing, they allow us to use the social enterprise. That was an obstacle. So we are about the only company who have the word social enterprise, right? So now we can go around getting donation from people. People think that because when you get the reason is you get the social enterprise, when they write the check, they want to see the word social enterprise. They want the check under the word social enterprise. Usually it's they call Alibaba, Cinnamon or whatever enterprise, which is, and they put another clause under bracket social enterprise. But there's no registration under social enterprise. So that is not a lot of money. I think we started about around 10,000, started right? Because it's not a cerebral heart, so it's a very free and the accounts is quite easy to do. And the matter of that, you got money to pay and you can make money back. All right. So from there, like I mentioned, that from there we actually we make prototypes, cost a lot of money, and we won completions. Maybe to us, our road is quite easier than most other people. Because for me, I've been in the innovation circle for a long time. I got track records. I got very long track records. So it's easier for me to approach people. And most of the time, if you approach people is, they want to see your track record. What have you done? Are you a scam? Are you a con? Especially the word charity. The word charity is a dirty word. Nobody believes it. Right? Because it's been misused and other things. Right? So for us, for me, let's say it's a track record. That's why I list out all my credentials. First impression, wow, So it's easier for me to con you now. I make a very good comment now. So this is what you should do. Before you actually do anything, it's good that you build up your reputation. So for me, when I enter competition, the chances of me winning is very high. Because people say, if there is a doubt, benefit of doubt, they give it to me. Either between me and another guy, right? If I'm standing in the competition, I'm sure they will prefer me because I got track records. So it's a normal thing. It's a human thing. See? Why do you want to bet on something unless it's obviously it's much better than me? Right? If you think 50, 55, and 45, if I'm a 45, maybe I could still win. Right? Because people like to bet on a winner, which is a potential, so they will not be wrong. Right? The chances that they are wrong minimize the thing. Right? I'm sure if you have seen a boxing, of course you think that the champion will win. Right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. What was the next question, Michelle?
I have a follow-up question, Mr. Yong. So, I think when you explain about, the costing, right? You set up about 10,000, right? You started up with that. So I think that makes sense, for you to set up for a startup, right? So when you grow, right? When you have more demand, especially from the NGOs, they come with you. Okay, we have this particular Orang Asli group that we need to supply. Probably we need 150 and so on. So how do you manage those demands and supply? Do you have a ready stock that is available, or do you deal with the production based on the demand and supply, and that's how you produce it? How do you manage the overall supply chain system there?
Okay, so what we produce, what we personally produce, is just a cap. It's sort of cap, right? The rest of the accessories, like the filters, we all purchase them. So we already have the mold, the molding for the plastic injection. Every time we produce it, because we do not have a factory to produce it, we outsource it. The molds belong to us, right, where we spend all the money, and they will produce for us. Each production, they have to do many, 5,000, 10,000 sets, right? So we already purchased the caps. So we have stock for that. The rest of the thing can be easily, ordered as we need it. Right?
And being
so
assembled.
We have no problem with the stocks, everything.
Right.
Of course, we need the money to. Of course, the other thing that filter, I think, is very costly. When you import, we have to buy in a huge quantity for the cost to be low. See? Right? So that is the capital we need now.
Okay, go ahead, Michelle. Sorry, I hijacked your question.
She
No
listens.
Yeah. So, Mr. Robert, so in terms of challenges so far in the business, what would you categorize as the most significant challenge that you have faced so far? And as the business expands, what are the more significant problems that you have encountered before? So as of current.
Okay, I think the most hindrance to our progress is that people, especially in Malaysia, right, they do not believe in local product. They always think that, I need, because there are actually many other water filters around. We don't deny that there are live straw, there are many other products. But why is it that people are not using theirs? There must be a reason. So when these people, when local people, when we approach them, unless they see the product, the first conclusion they have is that, oh, theirs is better than ours. Right? That is quite a sad part of local innovators, right? That people do not believe in them. Then the other thing is that for us to grow, we need exposure, right? So we need exposure. We need people to know. Most of the people we encounter, right, or new people, they do not know about this product. It's strange because it's actually the video, I think, is very gone viral, and most people, but maybe some of them which are not into this this thing yet, it is this industry or this or again, they are not interested. They do not have a second look, so they just walk away, look away. So when we ask them, have you seen this thing? Oh, I have not seen. When we show them, tell them, oh, this is interesting. We have to do a lot of this groundwork before we can actually. So our intention is that we hope that one day we can actually have access to international bodies like Red Cross or UNICEF or United Nations or Foundation of Bill Gates. That'd be wonderful for us. If we can go access to them, I think it will flow well.
That would be awesome, right?
Excuse me. Right. Okay. Right.
Go
Yes.
ahead, Michelle.
Yeah. Did you face or encounter any difficulty reaching out to the communities, for example, especially those in the rural areas, and reaching out to the targeted people, the community?
Oh yeah. They are very communities. Sometimes they are, you cannot simply walk in to say hello and right? So we have to work with other NGO who knows them well, where they honestly trust them. They are very suspicious because they have been marginalized. Even if you go inside, the children got hide on. Not all. Of course, we got more communities like in Gombak, in Sungai Buloh. We are nearer to the city. These people are quite okay. If you're going to Kelantan or Pahang, their community, their houses are still made of bamboo floor walls and dirt floor. You still have that, plenty of that, right? So, because I said that these people are nomadic. Some of them are nomadic. They move. They move. Especially some tribes like what tribes they call it. When there is somebody dies in the village, they move. Right? So this is the culture thing. So there's a saying that these people do not have pockets, meaning that they do not have possession. They have nothing. They just take carry and they move. Right? They don't have pockets. Right? So these are the people. So we need to work with, of course, the other NGO who have been, very faithfully helping them. There are many people. Even like we got, of course, there are Muslim. They got Christian. You see, honestly, in a kampung, in a tribe itself, there could be Muslim, there could be Christian, there could be pagans, right? Which are believe in the earth, I think, right? So most of them still believe in nature. Right? Even they're Muslim, of course, they cannot be entirely Muslim, right? So they still believe in this, in all these animals, something. Right? So I think that because the reason is that, do you know what is the lifespan of the orang asli in Malaysia? How old?
I read 54 years old.
55, not 54.
55.
54. Maybe now got Panadol, 54. all the time. All the time. 45, right? Because of course the infant rate is higher because because then why is it that people are not so concerned, well not? So people take it as the way of life. If somebody died, even they die of kidney or because of whatever disease, they do not think of that. They do not go to autopsy, find out what actually died. If they die, maybe they offended the spirit of the moon, spirit of the tree, spirit of the rules, they all think of this, so they just bury it and life goes on, right? But in reality, because of disease, because of the water they drink, because of the lack of food, because of hygiene, there's plenty of other causes, not just heaven and earth. So, yeah, come back to the question. What I say, you just,
we arrange accordingly.
The question.
Yeah, I think you're covering very comprehensively.
Yeah.
Next.
Mr. Robert, so what was your biggest successful things that you feel very proud of?
I think we did quite well with everything we do, right? So for me, of course, as an inventor, I think I did well as an inventor, right? So that should be my success. I think I have to answer now, but I should be proud of myself, proud of what I do.
And then next would be, how to say, of course, Mr. Roberts, to do all these things alone, or maybe a few people cannot make it a complete task, cannot serve it successfully. So do you actually hire any professionals, engineers, or any professional skilled workers to help you regarding on how to install the water filter and all those? Or do you use volunteer as well?
Oh, we use volunteers most because we did just if you see the video how the setup is foolproof and it's dummy proof. We have to make it simple, so simple that there can be no wrong. Right? Installation is just make it so simple. Of course, the first model we came out, there was some faults, where they do it wrongly, So the second model we come with the cab, we already eliminate all this wrong to be that thing already. Right? So I don't think that. So we actually before we go, usually if we work NGO, the NGO we can actually coach them, we teach them how to install the thing. It's very simple. So every time if you follow them, sometimes we will follow them to the site, right? What we do is that we start with the thing. We give them a talk, or the importance of sanitation, clean water, talk all this. Then of course the sponsor will say a few words. This is how it works, right? Then we show them how it works. Then we will teach the top party or the captain or somebody, a champion. There must be somebody who champion the leader of the pack there. So we teach them, okay, this is how we do it, how we wash it. So between 10 minutes, 20 minutes, they should master the thing really. It's whether they want to do or not. Right? So it must be simple. Because the thing we do, when we design the thing, we goes down to their mentality of these people. Right? You cannot make it, a lot of people say, oh, why don't you put motorized, you want to put solar panels, these are all, which is not necessary. Right? If you do solar panel, thing is one wire breaks or something, these people don't know how to repair it. Right? So for us, that make it so simple, so crude as you might call it, that if the hands can move,
Right.
And
so,
then, okay.
Sorry, Abraham. So I think just now you mentioned about, your biggest success is being an innovator, right? How about, your lesson learned? I mean, throughout this journey, right, of this social enterprise, what were some of the lesson learned that you had that, that we could actually understand from that perspective?
For this social enterprise, we need to work with people, that's right. How to, because for me, I do not actually, before this, we do not have collaboration with other NGO thing, right?
Yes.
So it's a matter of them. See, every organization, they have their own agenda. Right? It could be religion, it could be humanitarian, it could be, there's a lot of things, right? So how are we going to work with them that we can cooperate and to benefit The end of the day is that what is our goal? What we want to do,
Right.
right? So if I want to do this, they want to do this. So are we able to collaborate,
Mm.
right? I think to work with people, that is not easy, especially social enterprise. Right? If you go yourself, if you go yourself, social enterprise mostly depend on a lot of volunteers.
Yeah.
Most of them, and then maybe have one or two which you paid. Most of them are volunteers, right?
Right.
So how to the human side of people. I think that is what you need to learn most.
Working together, right?
Yeah.
I mean, having that mutual goal, I think that's very, very important, right? Okay. How about in terms of the future goal, Mr. Roberts? I mean, do you ever plan to retire? So, how do you want to make this social enterprise to be sustainable as well?
I think as long as there's a demand, because the thing is already set up already, it's set up,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Maybe my son will take a while. I don't know whether he want to continue, right? My son is now 21 years old, right?
mm-hmm.
So whether he's interested, most of the time he follow us to during when we deploy the thing, right? You just
Right.
maybe to him it's a summer camp lah. That's beside the point, right? So whether he want to continue, but this thing you see, it's not let's say it's not a profit oriented, right? You can make a living, maybe you can eat some rice, I think, but you need something else to to sustain yourself on a bigger scale. See, to be a social enterprise, to me, you see, once I got this social enterprise going, it opens up many other doors for me if I want to do other things, right?
Mm, mm,
So now I'm well known, right? I got famous, everything. So if I do something else, people will believe me, especially if my face come out in newspaper, come in the
yep.
television. That will,
Yep.
right? So when I talk to people, everything, if I go other projects, see,
Mm,
other from this social enterprise or this thing, I do a lot of coaching. I do a lot of workshops for Ministry of Science, Ministry of whatever. So I do a lot of all these things. See? So, you know, no, it give me the unfair advantage for other people.
mm,
That's it, I think. So
yep.
it's not
Yep.
about, so let's say if you do this, it's not about doing this, see. So your gain might not be from here, but it could be from other things,
Mm.
right?
So if you want to redo it again, right? What would you have done differently? And then what would you have told your younger self when you set up this social enterprise? Is there anything that you would have changed or your
Well,
journey
of
has
course, you
been?
see, when when we make the first mold, right,
Uh-huh.
was all wrong, right? Of course, it's a learning curve, you cannot be perfect
True.
unless you copy from someone, right? So of course, if I think that I shouldn't have make that mistake, of course that is
Mm,
impossible. But this is
mm,
just a wishful thinking that because you are wasted 50,000, I shouldn't have done that. But if I
mm.
didn't have that mistake, I wouldn't have improved on this
Learn.
mistake, right? So
Mm,
that's a fact of life that there shouldn't be regrets. And to me, I do not believe in regrets. You have done it. Before you do it, you do some due diligence, you do some calculated risk management, I think. Then if you fail, then you come again, right? Of
yeah.
course, to me, I do not believe in failure, right? To me, people understand, you need to fail before success. To me, you should not have a failure if you want. Failure is not, people say, what? Failure is something good. All motivators like to say that, right? Failure is to me, you see, if you must, this is what I say, do not be afraid of failure. They always say this.
Mm,
To me,
mm,
I think that is a wrong approach to things. Before you
mm,
start a race, before you do something, you should be afraid of failure. So to avoid failing, right? If you're not afraid of failure, tendency that you'll fail.
mm.
If you watch Batman, if you watch Batman, this guy fall inside the hole, right, the pit, right, over here, and he climbed and he fell, I think, right? Keep falling. You know why? So one day, this Bruce actually comes out. You know why? How did he manage it? An old man, of course, the story of the old man, old lady, right? To him, remove the rope. He had a rope tie. So
Mm,
he was not afraid of falling. He kept falling. So without the rope, Even one finger, he will hold on. If not, he die. Right? That's why he's success. So before you start your journey, whatever you do, you must be afraid of failing. Don't say, oh, never mind, fail, try again. If you're a soldier, you're jumping on a parachuter, you die. Not everybody have a second chance, right?
Sure.
So it's best that you avoid. Example, like if you're crossing a road, are you afraid of the car knocking you down? You are. You're afraid you die. You look left, look right, look left again before the crossroad. You have to be more careful, right?
Yep.
So be
Yep.
afraid of failing, but don't be afraid of trying. It's totally different, right? Failure is okay only after you fail, not before.
Okay. So
Right.
what advice would you give to an aspiring social entrepreneur? Someone new that's wanted to set up the social enterprise, right? What advice would you give to them?
I believe that they should come up with their own innovation, not just like taking rice, taking sugar, and give They must be based. It's best that you base on your own innovation, that you are different from the next. Right. So if you're different, you got something else. Let's say you have an unfair advantage over. It's still a competition. There's no say, oh, everybody is too good. There's still tendency that yours is better than them. People support you or not support that. It's not like say, oh, everybody good, everybody should be okay. It's not that. It's not that simple, right? Even all of us are trying to do good, but some can do better. Everybody wants to be better, right? If not, you have joined them. Why you start your own?
True.
Right?
Sure. Something new. Yeah. Being innovative with the product.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have to come up with the best to come up with your own product or own unique way of doing the thing. Not just another go to there, collect food and collect chocolates, collect clothes. And this is also which everybody does.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other questions. Maybe Abraham or Michelle.
So Michelle, do you have any other question?
Not from me. I'm okay.
She knows everything.
No, we already strategized all these questions already together.
I think Mr. Roberts, I would like to proceed for the last question, but this one out of topic a little bit.
Okay,
So one would be, if any of us we wish to join as the volunteer to help you, so can we join? And also, can I pass your contact to certain of my friends, because one of my friends is actually working for the SDG committee of the parliament. That means the Malaysia Parliament, they have a committee which focus on SDGs, which includes all the government and oppositions member of parliament. So because she is interested to cover on the rural areas and how they can help to get the clean water as well. So can I pass your contact to her?
Of course. That'd be great. This is what we need. Let's be honest, right? We need exposure. We need context. We were not able to do it. That'd be great. That'd be thank you.
Sure. So I think that's all from me.
Okay.
So thanks a lot for your time,
I
Mr.
think you
Roberts.
can join us. And sometimes you got a project, maybe between you and your friends. But sometimes we need 4-wheel drive, right? If you approach that, we need 4-wheel drive. You can back borrow, steal one 4-wheel drive. You can join us, right?
Just a normal 4-wheel drive you do, or they need to modify the 4-wheel drive?
No. Some of them already got track tar roads. Most of them got tar roads. Especially the problem is that when it rains, the thing be muddy. Of course, you got your own Mercedes. You got the sports. It's too low. I think it's not proper. Sometimes they got potholes. I think it's not that you need the rally, Dakar rally type. No, it's not about that. Most of them already got tar road, small single lane tar road. I think they have that. But most of them are living in the palm oil estates. They got actually. Unless you want to go to those people who are actually very deep inside that one. We're supposed to get the project. We are supposed to do a deployment in Guamusang in Post Toi. Post Toi to go to Guamusang itself from KL takes about 4 hours. From there, another 2 hours inside the kampong. So when I ask people, hey, want to go or not? Nobody wants to go. It's so deep inside.
Because we need to go to Gua Musa, we need to go through the entire Pahang, or some of them they may go
You
through
can go
from
Cameron Highway from Ipoh, or you can go to the Pahang Way, Rock Way. You can go both ways. Right? We had been to Guamusang a few times, but different kampong. There are plenty of kampong that still, Right? So sometimes if you want, you can of course follow us. It's a nice adventure, you know. You can go there, you go there, you humble yourself and look at people living in 4 bamboo walls and dirt floor and the roof that leaks when it rains. Right.
Yeah, sure. So, and of course, Mr. Roberts, for myself, I'm looking forward to meet you one day physically,
problem.
so that I can give you a souvenir at least, because now it's like the virtual meeting is like so-called of the communications, like we can get the information, we can get the message, but still didn't feel
The
as
feel is
warm
not there.
as the physical meetup.
Yeah. It's okay. You're free, no problem. I'm okay with that.
Because some of my friends, they are staying out of the Klang Valley. Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah, you can drop by. Sure.
Great.
So it's
great.
the address provided, right? The address, is it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
you
in his
can-
living.
Yes, yes.
You have my phone, right? 019. You write down 019.
3377477, that one, right?
Yes, correct.
All right, no problem.
All right.
Okay.
I'm
So
staying
shall
in
we
Auckland Road.
conclude?
Yeah, I'm staying along Auckland Road.
Mm.
Jalan Kucala Mata thing.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, great. All right, so we can conclude the session. Thanks a lot for joining, Mr. Roberts. I think we really appreciate your time. I know it's taken more than 45 minutes, and thank
It's okay.
you for really spending the time explaining the entire context, right? We really appreciate it, and hopefully we can do the justice when we prepare the write-up for our individual assignment. Thanks a lot.
All right. Make sure you're inspired. That's important.
We are.
All right.
All right, thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
All right. See you.
Bye.